We're recording.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. It started early.
Hey everybody, welcome to Thinking Outside the Long Box. I am Gabe with a wildly swinging microphone. Sorry.
I am Ted.
I am Juan.
I like how that turned out.
Pretty epic, wasn't it?
So this recording session is going to be a little different. We're not talking about any current stuff in our regular episodes, but obviously we will when we get to the listener interaction.
Yes.
This will be later on Facebook if you're listening right now somehow. I don't know if we're streaming anywhere. Or
No.
anything. Okay.
I'm recording it so I can put it up on YouTube. Yeah, so she's recording right there.
I genuinely know how our podcast works.
We do whatever Juan tells us.
Only once in a while.
Every other week we sort of do what Juan tells us.
I'm trying to keep the mic close. Is this good?
That's good. You're good. Yeah. You're good.
I'm going to try to make eye contact with the camera.
Please.
Yeah,
Hard eye contact.
That's hard.
Not even soft.
Because we talk to each other, so I want to look at you guys. But
You
now-
can look at us and then look at the camera.
Hi, camera.
Hey, YouTube.
Tim's eye fucking you right now.
Do you feel it? Did you feel it? I felt it.
It moved. So this recording session, we're going to be talking effectively about 3 pop culture classics, but we are going fucking way back, like into the 50s. We're watching 2 black and whites and a color movie from the 60s or 58.
Well, 58. 2 from 51 and 1 from 58.
So, if you're watching, if you're listening, please be sure to listen to all 3 episodes because there'll probably be a pretty contiguous thought process through all 3 of them. So
Is that how you say that word?
contiguous?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was continuous.
No, those are different
No,
words.
yeah.
I thought it was like another breakfast thing.
Continuous.
Where you're just talking stupid.
Continuous is a word, and contiguous.
I would
is a
assume that
word.
they're synonyms.
Yeah, I believe contiguous means connecting, and continuous means ongoing.
Again, synonyms.
No, because you can be the contiguous United States without being ongoing, whereas continuous is more of a designation of time than of space.
Fucking whatever.
I don't even know if that's right.
It's probably not.
That's more science than is in any of these movies.
I don't know about that. Anyway, so first up, let's talk about the day the Earth. No.
The Thing from Another World.
Is the one we're going to talk about
So,
first.
sometimes referred to as just The Thing, is the 1951 American black and white science fiction horror film. What? Directed by Christian Nyby, produced by Edward Lasker for Howard Hawks' Winchester Pictures Corporation, and released by RKO Pictures.
RKO out of nowhere. Why don't we have buttons to push to do that stuff for us?
We were supposed to get those from Dana, and she never gave them to me.
God
Damn
it,
Dana.
You know, she works
for
Fox
Fox.
News.
Yeah.
Makes perfect
That's
sense.
why.
She works for Fox News.
The film stars Margaret Sheridan, Kenneth Tobey, Robert Cornthwaite, and Douglas Spencer. James Arness.
Cornthwaite.
That's what it is. Yeah. James Arness plays the Thing, but he is difficult to recognize in costume and makeup due to both low lighting and other effects used to obscure his features.
Yeah, it's really hard to notice.
It's based on a novella from John W. Campbell.
It's hard to notice him when he is not in a butt ton of the movie.
No, not at all.
yeah.
I think the
He's
lady
in the
who
hand, and that's about it.
you get to see his hand.
Yeah. So, this movie is the basis for John Carpenter's The Thing. And you can see, the framework. They're in the Arctic, they're a science project, project's the wrong word, but, they're a scientific, station. There's something going on at the station, so they send people to go figure out what's going on, and there's all this craziness. One of the things that I felt was kind of missing, that they used the science, the guy with the goatee and the mustache, kind of to... I think where they drew the idea that the Thing can infect other people, they took kind of from that guy who's constantly trying to get them to just talk to the Thing. Even after they've set him on fire, I'm sure he's going to be super down to talk
He's
with
like,
each
what,
other.
bitch? Bam!
Yeah. Like literally bitch slapped him to death. But like,
I love it.
the movie itself, it seems like it's based on a novella. It seems like it's based on something that's not quite got enough meat on the bones to create like an hour and 20-minute movie. And so as a consequence, there's just a bunch of exposition that is very difficult to stay awake through. Movies have like figured out how to pace themselves so much better since like the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
We're going to be talking about two other movies that I think did it fucking 100% better. And
Yes.
this came out in 58, and they were damn near a decade earlier than this. And so it's... No, this was 51. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
This was one of the...
oldest,
This is one
yeah.
of the 51s. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's just...
But the other one from 51, not nearly this slow.
No.
Not even
Still
close.
pretty slow though.
Still pretty slow. Well, that's kind of telltale for the time, I think. But
My kids weren't here, so I didn't have to hear the "oh fuck, black and white." Like, I hate that so much. But I was the same way when I was a kid.
So this is about a group of scientists who, like you said, they have a station in the Antarctic, or no, in
This one's
Alaska.
Yeah, this
Anchorage.
is in the Arctic.
Yeah. And
It's north of Anchorage
Yeah.
because they're going to go visit the couple's going to go to Anchorage.
so they find essentially like you never see it, but it's like a spaceship in the ice.
Yeah.
And then they excavate the dude from
Also,
it.
you never see it, which is fucking hilarious.
yeah, you just see like a thing,
They're like, oh, it's in a perfect circle.
and then I
Yeah.
yeah. How can you tell? I just got a good feeling. Most
No,
of it's buried in the
Did,
snow.
Didn't you see how they could tell? They all put
Yeah,
their arms
yeah.
out and gave a big hug. Like,
Oh.
I was like, what are they doing? Like, what exactly are they attempting? Are they measuring it? Like,
They're exercising.
it literally looks like
theory.
it literally looks like the circle you make before derby practice to do stretching, and then it looks like they're doing stretching. They're just all arms wide. It's a perfect circle. No one fucking knows why or what it is. I don't know. It's
So-
ridiculous.
They excavate the thing, and then they keep him frozen, and somehow the dude puts a warm blanket on him, and it gets soaked. Doesn't short the blanket at all, but he doesn't hear the pools of water that are falling behind him. And the stupid thing wakes up, and then chaos ensues.
Yeah.
Kind of. It's a subdued chaos.
It's
So
a very subdued chaos. Holy shit.
So here's the thing. This movie, I think, might be more influential than I think people realize. So not just with John Carpenter's The Thing, but like The Creature is like the prototype
Yeah.
for the slasher movie. And I don't recall there being, with maybe the exception of like Frankenstein and like his lumbering nature,
Yeah.
but like The Thing is like that single-minded focus on murder. Like as opposed to Frankenstein, who's just like dumb and like doesn't really understand what he's doing,
Right.
or accidentally kills a kid, like that sort of stuff. So I think this movie might be something that a lot of directors and writers saw when they were really young, and I could see, like, there's some pretty intense scenes. Like, there's a scene
Yeah.
where the thing is, like, running around on fire, or the scene where they're, like, electrocuting him and stuff. If I would have seen this movie when I was 5 or 6, that would have left a humongous fucking impression on me. If I saw this movie as a teenager the first time, and it left an okay impression, and I think that's just nostalgia, and like kind of that distortion of things over time.
Yeah.
Like I think if you asked a lot of horror directors, a lot of them would point out either this one or John Carpenter's version of it as like an inspiration.
By the end of the year, 1951, it had accrued $1,950,000 in domestic rentals, making it the year's 46th biggest earner, beating all other science fiction films released that year, including The Day the Earth Stood Still and When Worlds Collide. Which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
It's so fucking slow. And I guess maybe that's just a product of us, of
Yeah,
the
it's
way
a-
things are made
Yeah,
now.
It's a different time.
Yeah.
Editing is very different now. Like everything has to move like beat, 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 or we're instantly like, That's why people hate movies like The Witch, is because The Witch is drawn out like this.
But for me, it wasn't even the slow parts that disinterested me. A lot of it was that the slow parts didn't really do anything. They didn't progress the story forward. There was a random fucking romance novel in the middle of it. You know what I mean? It just made no sense
I'm
sometimes.
guessing it's probably a function of the novella.
For me, a lot of the problem wasn't so much the slowness, it's that there's nothing happening. Like, you can have a scene with a shit ton of dialogue and exposition, but if it's just a room full of people talking, wow, that's fun to watch.
Well, I mean, like the first 4 or 5 minutes of the movie is just those dudes playing poker.
I know.
Like,
we're like
they're just killing time.
Oh, I shouldn't let you be looking at this document.
A movie like The Witch, that is also incredibly slow, gives you a lot of like visuals to look at and digest and creepy things to like try to figure out visually. But there's none of that in these older films. They just hadn't really started doing anything like that then. So.
I think with like crime movies they had, like, because if you watch a film noir from the same era, like there's so much like lighting tricks that are happening, so many like ideas that they're using visually to trick you into thinking a room is dark when it's completely lit for the actors, like that sort of thing. There's hardly any of that in this, except for in the scenes when the thing is attacking them. Like, they make sure that he's backlit, they make sure that he's obscured, so you never really get like a full grasp of what he looks like. And that's actually kind of cool because it allows your mind to like fill in some of the gaps. So like in my brain, he probably, like if we were to draw sketches, Tim's would be the best, yours would be the second best, and mine would be the worst, but they would probably all have like kind of different ideas as to what he looks like.
He seemed very Frankenstein-y to me.
He does seem pretty Frankenstein, but I think that's partially just because he's randomly wearing a suit and also,
it's like a tuxedo.
Yeah, he also
they have those on other planets.
he walks like Frankenstein.
He does. He lumbers. Yeah, for sure.
It was just like a sci-fi Frankie.
Yeah.
You could have done just a generic, like, while they're just bullshitting talking, like you could
creeping around.
You could see, like, you cut to the scene outside where maybe you can kind of see he's kind of peering in at him or something.
Yeah.
Like, there's just nothing in those scenes, and it doesn't. You go from being kind of maybe in the 50s, you go from being kind of like, oh shit, that was scary, to like, all right, they're just hanging out, you know, now, and it's weird. It's a weird high-low situation.
Yeah, it is, and again, it's probably just. It's just a function of how they made movies back then.
People in the 50s could only be high for so little time.
I guess.
Eventually, they found out they could be high all the time. Yeah, that's when you got to the 60s.
Yeah. And now we're to the point where I'm just high 24/7.
Right, you're level now.
I'm level. Getting high takes effort now.
Right?
Just low grade every day. I don't know. It's an interesting movie, and I think it's like there's so many things that are in it that you can see.
Damn cat.
There's so many things that are in it that you can see where it went, like, over time. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of the concepts and ideas that are in it got taken by other people and used better in, like, more interesting ways. So
there's a critical analysis that says some critics have interpreted The Thing from Another World to contain commentary on the threat of communism in America. Program notes from a Cinema Texas screening of the film stated that the film is seen as being symbolic of McCarthyism and the fight against communism on the home front.
For sure, the other one is. The John Carpenter one is like big time a commentary on stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because the thing infects other people and you don't know, like, who is possessed by it, like who's in control. It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. You know, where until the Body Snatchers have like control of the majority of the populace, you have no fucking idea who has a little alien wiggle in the back of their neck, you know. That movie's fucking scary as shit. The old one is too. But I mean, I can see it, you know, but it doesn't.
I can't really see it.
I mean, I can see it if I try real hard. Like, definitely Day the Earth Stood Still has a lot more
It's way more
social
commentary for
in it.
sure.
Yeah. Like this,
kind of the whole point of
seeing
that
it
movie.
that way is like seeing it that way because that was like the culture at the time. And so it's easy to take those things and like kind of overlay them because that was just in the regular zeitgeist. Like people watching and listening to pop culture that comes out over the next like 3 or 4 years, like 25 years down the line, are never going to be able to erase like Donald Trump, coronavirus, Black Lives Matter from pop culture. And things like movies and TV shows are going to be seen through those lenses in the past the same way this one is.
Yeah.
And some of those might be stretches, like big stretches, but they exist just because that's what we think about.
Right.
And the things we think about come out like in our art. So
It's weird to think that like 20 years from now, somebody will watch John Wick and be like, "This is a really good period piece on social commentary of the late 2000s."
and the rise of the animal rights movement.
This is at a time when the Second Amendment was at its peak.
So they felt the need to solve animal rights issues with murder.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. John Wick's amazing. Yeah, it's sold. It's interesting. Like
Right.
it's an interesting thing, and it's the thing I think that's the most fascinating about watching stuff like this, and that's why I suggested the pop culture classic like in the beginning, is I like watching older things and seeing it through like our eyes because I haven't seen this movie in a long time.
I don't
And,
think
like,
I've ever seen it.
I don't know if I've ever seen it
The
either.
Day the Earth Stood Still, I think I saw him when I was in like 4th or 5th grade, something like that. And The Blob I didn't see until I was like 16 or 17. But The Thing I've watched twice now. Day the Earth Stood Still I've probably seen like maybe 4 times. And The Blob used to be like one of the only VHSs I owned, so I've seen it like 17 times, you know. But
Maybe that's why I couldn't find it on DVD.
because I bought them all. But like
Dark and weird.
right. No, what's great about it is you kind of get to see it through like a different perspective than the people who even made it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, electricity isn't surprising anymore and would probably be one of the first ways we would try to kill something like that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I don't know if I would necessarily throw gasoline over a creature in an enclosed room.
And set it on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like one of the more stupid ideas they have.
That's like step 1, dude.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Try to set it
Let's
on fire.
let's enclose ourselves in a room and
No,
douse
no.
this with fucking
Step one
gasoline.
is always shoot at it a bunch.
Mhm.
Like, always, all these movies, shoot at it a bunch, try to set it on fire, fuck, we're screwed.
I don't
Drop a
know.
nuke on it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, honestly, trying to be its friend is step 1.
Never in these movies.
He tried to be his friend. What do you mean?
Just that one guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes there's that guy who's like, wait, we gotta preserve this rare creature.
And then he got bitch slapped to death. Like, it was amazing.
And fuck you.
He got bitch slapped, and then he's literally never in the movie again. So it's safe to assume he's dead.
Oh, yeah.
And that's poor Greg.
What happened to the one guy? The one guy
The
that kept trying to
scientist
talk
dude,
to him.
yeah.
Oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
He's dead.
I killed him to death.
So,
Murder death killed him.
I'm gonna give this a 1/4 star
Out of how many stars?
out of 5 stars.
Out of 2 stars.
It's just too slow. And the action scenes aren't that great either.
Yeah.
They're not.
I'm about the same.
A 1/4 out of 5.
Yeah, like the fountain's
It's just like
it wants to, but it's
it's where he's at when he
It's
first turns the porn on. You know, just
Yeah.
kind of like
It's like a little whoop.
yeah,
And then you're like, oh,
right.
alright.
yeah.
Then I start reading the comment section, starts going on.
I've never read comments in a porno.
That's where all the fun's at.
Is it?
I promise you.
I think I need to start doing
Some of the
that.
craziest shit you'll ever read in
Sounds
your
like
life is written there.
Sounds like a new hobby, I'm thinking. I'm a little better on this one. I think I would give it like a cool 50%.
Wow.
Like 2.5 out of 5.
2.5 out of 5.
Yeah, or 5 out of 10,
5 out of 10.
or 3.5 out of 7. 50%. Like it is a solid D. Like
I'm
B+.
Doyle. I'd give it 75%.
Is that what he said?
I don't know.
He was supposed to leave a voicemail. Or
Yeah,
something.
he didn't leave
he,
shit.
yeah, he might.
Not yet. Yeah, I'm sure he will.
We'll add it after.
Yeah.
Like,
But you have to read his comment like that if he doesn't send something in himself after the fact.
oh, for sure.
My name's Doyle.
I'm a bitch. I let my work command my life.
I'm a slave to the man, even though I bitch about it all the time.
I complain, and then when they tell me I have to stay, I roll over and present.
I say, yes, I'm vessel.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
Yeah. And
All right.
demonetized
I don't think we like this movie all that much.
I
No, this
like.
movie is boring as shit.
I
Holy
don't
fuck.
think I like this movie, but I think I like some of the visuals and ideas that are in it that you can see got used by other people in other ways. And that's really where the 50% is for its influence, not its goodness.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 years later they started making movies like Black Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah. What's up?
Let us start
I put them in the fridge so that it wouldn't be like super melty.
We're on YouTube.
What? Yeah, I guess
That's
that's
it.
it, huh?
Yeah.
Well, be sure to check us out. You can find us on TOTLB.com. Of course, you can find us, all of our social media stuff there. Also, join us on Patreon. It's how we make no money. But thank you very much to our Patreon supporters.
The
That was-
sketches should
that
be
was a
getting
joke.
here every
Yeah.
second now.
You can find
Any
it-
second? Every second?
Yeah, you're,
Any
you're
second.
having language problems today, but
It's the highlight.
you can find us at patreon.com/TOTLB. Also, go to tinyurl.com/TOTLB2 to find this YouTube that you're either watching, or go to our YouTube and subscribe if you're listening on the podcast. And of course, you can give us a call. So, I went to wrestling on Friday, and there was a dude named Vinny 5.2,
Ooh.
and he came out.
Was it because he was 5'2"?
It was because he was
Oh,
5'2".
wow.
And I yelled out, "I didn't know there'd be midgets!" And he got very mad at me. But I know somewhere in a grave Michael Kirk's dick moved. So be sure to call us on the Michael Kirk Memorial Hotline, 970-573-6148. There was once a man named Michael Kirk who loved midgets, and now he's dead. With that said,
Memorialize it.
memorialize.
We did. Somebody
We
did.
did get a
today.
call.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Keep listening.
Yeah, you
because
didn't
we
leave
will-
your name or who
Yeah.
or nothing, but thank you.
But it will become an episode, so
Yes.
thank you. With that said, I've been Gabe.
I'm Tim.
I'm Juan.
I definitely
Something's in his
fucking
eye
love
now.
hot sauce in my eye.
He definitely rubbed hot sauce in his eye.
Ah.
Everybody like the game.
Bye, everybody.
Fuck!